What's your favorite kind of sexual dance? Is it the tango? Is it a salsa? Is it the little bop that Cozy does in the bottom corner of the screen? Welcome to Respawn Ain't Fire Kick-Ass Forever Game Podcast. Lydius, I'm one of your hosts. Adam, he doesn't dance at all, even at weddings. Gumbert. And today we have with us Chad. What's your favorite kind of sexual dance, Michael Ennis?
My favorite kind of sexual dance is the little jig that the goose does when Alex brings in the goose so he can go pee.
That's a solid one.
Yeah.
We also have with us Alex. He has a sexual goose in his screen sometimes. Not Michael Ennis. What's your last name? Cozina.
Cozina. Correct.
Yep.
Hey. Don't have much to say.
You don't have a sexual dance?
No, I don't.
Sexual.
Interesting. I know they say that you can tell someone's abilities by how they dance. So we'll just put that out there. Twitch.tv/Affable Sunday evenings at 8:30 Eastern Time. YouTube and podcast services Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern. Upcoming on today's show, some bad news, but let's start with some good news. Main quest time. We're going to talk about Pokemon Presents. Cozy gets real excited from Taylor Lyles.
Sexual dance.
Sort of. Sort of.
From Taylor Lyles at IGN.com. Do you want me to read it first? Do you want to tell us why you're excited, Cozy? Because
read it first. Read it first.
Okay, real bossy. Pokemon Company just held its first Pokemon Presents event of the new year. Do they normally do more than one a year?
Well, Pokemon Presents, they always do one on Pokemon Day, which is February 25th, which is the anniversary of the death of Ash.
They sometimes do have additional Pokemon branded presents throughout the year, but yes, as Chad said, there's usually always one around February.
Interesting. Okay. So here's what happened at the thing. New Terra Raid events in Scarlet and Violet. Players will have the chance to do a Terra Raid where they can catch one of the 3 final evolutions of the Gen 1 starters. The event is going on now for Mighty Venusaur that ends on March 5th. March 6th starts Mighty Blastoise until the 12th. And then the March 13th, Mighty Charizard goes into March 17th. So you can get all those, everyone's favorite shiny cards you had as a kid. Pokemon Horizons.
Hold on. Alex.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is Mighty a brand new thing? Like, I know there are Mega, there are Terrestrialized. What is a Mighty Charizard?
I'm assuming it's just a branding gimmick thing. I don't think this is like a new mechanic or anything similar. Unfortunately, I've not been keeping up too much with Scarlet and Violet because I haven't been playing them, but I would have heard if this is like an entirely new mechanic on the same level as like terrestrializing or Mega Evolution or something like that. I think it's just a branding.
Now, I will say, if you type in Mighty Charizard into Google, you get some DeviantArt that is very interesting.
You do. Well, there's one eBay listing first that says it's basically you get this Mighty Charizard from these events that they're talking about. But yeah, then the second one is like
real sinewy is what I would say.
That's a sexual dragon right now. Sexual Dagrons.
Yeah, I'm reading it up real quick. It just means that they like have better than average stats or a little bit stronger than like your average raid caught Pokemon. That's all it means.
Gotcha. Cool. So the good ones. Pokemon Horizons, the series collaboration event starts next week in Pokemon Go. It's part of the collaboration event. Okay,
yeah, so that's not a Pokemon. That's just the word collaboration.
Ice cream mon. That's a joke for video game trivia. So as part of the collaboration event, I'm going to try these. Cozy, you tell me if they're wrong.
Yeah,
I think I got most of them. Charcadet.
Yeah.
Armorogue, or is it Armarouge?
Armarouge. I actually don't know myself.
I think it's Armarouge because Rouge means red, and that one's the red one.
That would make sense.
That
would make sense.
And Cerulege. Cerulege. All of which were Pokemon that originated from the Paldea region. Will arrive in Pokemon.
Paldea.
That's a typo. It's Paldea.
That's Paldea.
Okay. Yeah.
Will arrive Pokemon Go. Additionally, Pikachu wearing Cap's hat will be a new costume Pokemon that will appear during that event. You guys like Pokemon Go? Do you care about this stuff? I like the hat.
Oh yeah, always.
Somewhat.
I catch a ton of these until I get 3-star versions of them, and then I'm going to evolve the 3-star versions, and then we're going to be good. And I'll never care.
Cerulege is a new Pokemon that they introduced in Gen 9 that's sort of like he's like this humanoid-ish like armored warrior with ice and ghost type powers, and they're really trying to position him as like the new emo Pokemon mascot, which is like a role that Pokemon like Lucario have occupied in the past. I don't particularly feel attracted to him, but I mean, I do play a lot of Pokemon Go. I will definitely catch these guys once I get hands on them.
I will
Do we
say
know-
before the. Oh, go ahead, Chad.
So I've only watched one episode of Pokemon Horizons. It was
Mhm.
it was an interesting show. I enjoyed the concept of it. It's like this girl comes and tries to work at a Pokemon spa, and she's like super wound up and uptight. And the woman's like, "Hey, just, how about you chill and don't get burnt out on work, and you take time for yourself." So yeah, cool show. I like the art style, all that kind of stuff. But like, are these from Pokemon Horizons? I don't remember seeing these three Pokemon in that show at all. How is this a collaboration?
I've been jumping from game to game, and so unfortunately, I've not had the opportunity yet to really watch Horizons myself. So unfortunately, I can't answer that. I know I'm supposed to be the Pokemon master here, but I've been gaming a lot of games lately, as we'll get into later.
Understandable. I will say, me and Chad looked up some of these Pokemon in Ledge or whatever. Looks
Mhm.
like a Digimon, but like a cool Digimon.
Yeah, like
you
a
know?
like a
Yeah,
cool Digimon mech cyber sex symbol.
Mhm.
yeah,
Not
he
a cyber
kind of
sex
has.
symbol, but a cyber sex symbol.
He definitely kind of has that going for him. I mean, yeah. See, when I think of Digimon, I always think of the guns because there's that meme of like, oh yeah, you take the cat and it evolves into like a refrigerator with like a machine gun. And I feel like we've yet to really get a Pokemon that really embodies that.
If
But I can
only
see
they
it.
were that cool. Pokemon trading card game Pocket was announced. This game will allow you to collect virtual Pokemon cards in addition to battling with your friends. Pokemon trading card Pocket is out sometime this year on iOS and Android.
This isn't initially something that's of a tremendous amount of interest to me, but I can see this potentially weaseling its way into my life and becoming a big part of it, like Pokemon Go. But no particular thoughts so far, other than that this is something they are going to make a lot of money off of.
They're going to make so much money. I was literally just thinking today as I was thinking about the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth card game and wanting that. I was like, fuck, how much money am I going to spend on Pokemon trading cards and booster packs and digital things like that I wouldn't spend on physical ones because I don't have time or space for them in my life. And I don't have anyone in my life physically here that plays it. But I tried doing Magic the Gathering digitally, and then I couldn't get anyone else interested to play me. So, but I do have lots of friends who currently at least buy Pokemon cards. They don't play it, but they buy physical Pokemon cards. So,
Yeah.
maybe I could sucker somebody into playing this with me.
Maybe you could. And then last, a new Pokemon Legends game is out next year. While no gameplay is shown, we know that Pokemon Legends Z to A will be set entirely in the city of Luminos.
Zeta. Zeta means
So
like
here's the thing.
Za.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Is Pokemon Legends ZA going to actually be a good game? Fuck if I could tell. I enjoyed Pokemon Legends Arceus fine.
it's a Canadian version of
I
the
thought
saying.
that game made a lot of big swings and in many ways was the like revolutionary Breath of the Wild like experience that people have been wanting out of the Pokemon series for years, but I felt the game was a little bit lacking in other ways and ultimately just didn't quite have the level of depth that I've come to appreciate from the mainline Pokemon games. All that said, this game has an opportunity to actually be really good. And that opportunity comes solely from the fact that this is the first Pokemon game in a decade that is not releasing consecutively the year after another major Pokemon game. And what I mean by that is since 2016, since the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon in 2016, there has been a new mainline Pokemon game every single year. Those guys at Game Freak and their collaborators have been non-stop. And the fact that they're like, you know what? We're going to take a year off and we're going to come out with our next Pokemon game the year after gives me a tremendous amount of hope that this game is actually going to be a cohesive and relatively bug-free experience when it finally launches in 2025. And for that reason alone, I'm actually kind of excited for it. Not tremendously excited, but more excited than if they had came out and announced, hey, November 2024, a new Pokemon game we got to churn out. It's here.
Alex,
yeah.
what if I told you there will be 0 improvements to this game over Arceus, and that it will literally be the same thing with no... Here's the only improvement you might see is there will maybe be a beauty competition that you can enter your Pokemon in that you won't give a fuck about. That's like
Oh, man.
Nothing else about the game will ever change because that's not what Game Freak does. That's not what the Pokemon
With that
company
one
does.
French poodle Pokemon, Furfrou.
Yeah, which you can pay 25 candy to change the form 1,000 times in Pokemon Go.
We'll see. What's interesting about this game is basically they've insinuated that this game is going to take place entirely within the city that you badly butchered when you read the script earlier, Adam.
Is it not
And
Luminos?
It's fuck. It's been so long. I didn't particularly enjoy Pokemon
But
X
you don't know
Y.
how to say it, huh?
Yeah, Lumios.
I'm going to say it's
I believe-
Luminoy, like the Iroquois Indians.
I want to say that
Like Iroquois Native Americans. Sorry, my history has poisoned my brain.
Yes. Absolutely.
Somebody did not properly transcribe this to the document. It is Lumios with an E at the end. There we go. It's basically based off of France.
This guy just
complete with
changed
its
the
own
spelling in the doc
Eiffel
as we were
Tower at
talking.
the center. I need to issue corrections where they need to be corrected.
Okay.
And yeah, I feel like, I don't know, there's something interesting about that. They also talked about how there's going to be like a component of building up the city, which makes me wonder, are we going to, be able to kind of customize the city's appearance? Is there going to be that kind of aspect to the experience? I don't know. There's interesting things, certainly interesting things to speculate about when it comes to what this game is going to offer. Again, is this game going to kind of tremendously make up for the ways in which I ultimately did not connect with Pokemon Legends Arceus? Remains to be seen, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be exactly the same thing, which is cool.
My best hope, I don't, I'm with Chad. They'll probably never change it because it makes too much money. So why change it now? But the best case scenario would be fall 2025, and they've taken time to like get it running on Switch too. So it's like, assumingly more powerful hardware, and you take time. Because even though
did they announce a platform?
Scarlet did well.
Did they announce Switch?
No, I think they said Switches or something like that.
So that's the thing is in the Pokemon Presents, they were like coming to Nintendo Switch. It was like Nintendo Switch or Nintendo platforms. They worded it in such a way that leaves room for interpretation that they mean to say it's coming to the Switch and the Switch successor, which would make sense for a franchise like Pokemon.
Well, if it's coming to both, then it's gonna settle for the lowest common denominator, and it's gonna be trash on both.
Damn.
I mean, to be honest, I loved Legends. I played literally 40 hours of that in the first week, in addition to my 40-hour job, and I loved that game. But yeah, there were trash parts of that game, including like the draw distance. Although that might not be an issue in the city because you're not flying over this big old island that you're trying to pinpoint little tiny Pokemon down below on.
That's true. I will say, will this game launch in November, like you were saying, Adam? Don't know necessarily if that's the strategy with this game. The thing with Legends Arceus is that launched in January of the year it came out, right? Like it was like really early.
It was really early.
It was February because I think it was right for my birthday.
So I feel like we can't use the typical release date schedules of other Pokemon games to really predict when this game is coming out. I will say, if we want to put down an actual official Cozy patented prediction on this one, don't think that this will launch at the same time as the Switch 2. I think there will definitely be a buffer of at least a few months between the Switch 2 coming out and this game releasing.
I could see that.
All right, the official Pokemon account says will launch on Nintendo Switch systems in 2025.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
I mean, that could refer to the Switch Lite and the Switch OLED.
Or if we speculate wildly, it could mean anything.
Because every time
if we do not have a brand new Switch successor end of next year, I'm going to throw everyone off of a diving board into a pool filled with Jell-O. And you think that sounds good, but no, you're going to hit that Jell-O and it's going to feel like cement.
All the rumors and speculation are crystallizing on it coming out in March of next year. Seems like that's the target.
Pokemon Crystal remake in the vein of like, let's go.
Yeah, everybody thought that was going to be it. And what's weird is that the present itself made like repeated allusions to Johto. There were all the unknown For example, not the Willy Wonka fake villain, as in Pokemon the Unknown, which were introduced in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. But yeah, they went with Gen 6, which was unexpected.
Cool. All right. That's the Pokemon stuff that happened this week. Last week? Yeah. Playtime. Talking about playtime. I guess we should do the big one last because everyone, even Dallas in the chat's like, "Oh, I gotta finish. Tell me about Final Fantasy VII." So I guess we should do that one last. So if anyone has something that's not Final Fantasy, do that first, and then we'll end with that. I think is the move. So Chad, what is this just a Final Fantasy in disguise up here?
No, that's Helldivers on the Beach.
Okay.
I played the last of Helldivers on the Beach that I will ever play because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is now out, and that will be the rest of my life. I unlocked, but have not had the opportunity to use yet, the orbital laser, which is, pretty awesome. We did a little bit of trophy hunting. There's a trophy for killing one of the charger bugs. Yes, we played bugs. I'm sorry, everyone. We did it for the trophies because Matt needed to kill one of the Bile Titans. But there's a trophy for killing one of the chargers using a resupply call-in. And you're like, how are you going to do that? That thing moves all over the place. And resupply takes, 10 seconds to come in. I was a smart little cookie, and I froze that bitch with an EMS strike. And then while it's frozen in place, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm being electrocuted. You go, ska, right through them, boom, get the trophy. What I hate about a lot of these, though, is that these trophies are individual based. So it's like, kill a Bile Titan, but everyone on your team has to individually kill a Bile Titan to get the trophy, or at least deliver the final blow.
Yeah.
And so, really frustrating. The only one I feel like that is actually a group one is there's extract with 15 or more rare I forget materials, whatever they're called, samples.
Sample. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll never play that again now. I don't even know. I was so invested, and now I don't even know if we lost the robot war or not. So I assume we did.
No, we did good this week. We already won it, and it was at like 5 days left, and we completed it, so we're good.
I feel like when I last played, which was like 4 days ago, we were at like 2.5 days left, and we had 3 sectors to capture.
We lost Vietnam, but I forgot. Oh my God, Cozy. Look at this guy in the Discord.
What happened with
I was trying to be subtle about it. I didn't want you guys to bring it up.
No, it's fine. We won't talk about it at all. Chad, you can look at that later. But yeah. I also played a little bit. Discord chat.
Hold on, I'm gonna open up Discord
Hold
chat.
on, let's spend another 10 minutes.
Hold on.
Let's do this real quick.
Another 10 minutes.
Don't worry about it,
Cozy. I tried to send very subtly through Discord so it wouldn't interrupt
now everyone saw on the
discussion of Helldivers on the beach.
I also played a little bit with Lukewarm Lewis, just to say it the way Chad likes it. But no, Luke was good. Played with him for the first time, and I was like, all right, let's play this. And he was like, I'm going to play Final Fantasy VII after we get off here. I'm like, don't worry, bud. Everyone else is. I get it. So we had fun with that. But yeah, for me, I just played stuff that's not interesting or old stuff. I really just spent most of the time in the hospital this week. So that was the most of that. But Avatar's pretty fun.
Everything okay?
Watching Avatar. Oh, yeah. Scheduled surgery, not a big deal.
Oh, okay.
But Avatar's a fun show. Shogun's fucking phenomenal. But outside of that, I haven't really played anything interesting game-wise.
Shogun. Okay, tell me about this. My brother-in-law texted me this morning. He was like, I don't know if you've watched this on FX or Hulu, but Shogun is like a Ghost of Tsushima show, and it's incredible. And I had never heard of it before this morning, and I have not looked into it
I didn't hear
yet.
about it until recently. It's fucking.
What is this thing?
Just watch it. Yeah, it's like samurai. Think of like, it's an FX show, so the quality and the, FX puts out good shit. And it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say Game of Thrones because it's not weird fantasy stuff. But it's just like very well directed, very well. The sets look like it's just like someone's like, oh, someone gave someone a lot of money to make a really good fucking samurai story. And that's what we're watching. Okay. So just watch it. It's only 2 episodes out, I think, right now. So just go watch it on Hulu because it's very, very good. Okay. And then Avatar's fun. But anyways, let's get to it so that Dallas can finish. Guys, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. What's the deal?
Alex, you start.
Man, oh man. Month of January, I was knee deep trying to get both my personal streaming efforts off the ground, doing Cozy Bear's cooking, as well as, working on some other stuff for Respawning Fire on the side, such as the most recent episode of Pitch Perfect, which just went up on Respawning Fire's Patreon, which you can get for $1 a month or more. Definitely go check that out. Plug, plug, plug. And didn't get much of a chance to play games that month. Month of February, continued to work on both those projects, and through my just sheer innocence and audacity, thought it would be a great idea to allow you, humble viewers at home, to vote that we play a little game called Castlevania Lords of Shadow, released in the year 2010. And that took just a bitch and a half to complete. What did I actually think about the game? You'll have to wait for our barf review of it, which, as of us doing this episode, has not yet been recorded. I may have some negative things to say about it. I might have some positive things to say about it. You'll have to wait and find out. I have been waiting for a game in 2024 that would finally grip me, that would finally just wake me up out of this malaise that I've been, that would give me an excuse to not be constantly huddled over at my computer, just tweaking some arcane setting in OBS. And this is the game. So far, I do want to stress that I'm only so far at Chapter 7. I just scaled that one mountain that Barrett has some
Chapter 7, that's
with.
significant.
Oh, really? I'm guessing have you been spending like a lot of time exploring like the open world, doing stuff like that?
I guess kind of. I've only spent about 10 hours in it, but yeah, I've spent about an hour in chapter 3 so far.
Oh, so you're only at chapter 3.
Yeah, it's telling me to go to Junon, but I'm like, I know what happens in Junon, and there's a bunch of trophies I'm going to have to make sure I perfect some mini games and shit on, so I'm holding off on Junon until I clean up some stuff.
Okay, well, I'll try to, even though obviously this story is mostly known for the most part, I'll try to kind of keep spoilers to a minimum. What's funny about this game is back when I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I knew the basic structure of the story of the original version of Final Fantasy VII, but I had not watched like a particularly in-depth recap of it ahead of time. With this game, I actually made a point of watching like multiple recaps of the original Final Fantasy VII story, along with a recap of Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier, because a lot of people were saying on Twitter and whatnot that actually that random spin-off games story actually really incorporates into this one. And I am glad I did, because playing through this game, like, it is like kind of incredible the way that they have like realized and subverted so many of those sequences from the original version of Final Fantasy VII in this game. I know so much of that can also be said about Remake back in 2020, but like, wow, this game is like one hell of like an expensive and incredibly enjoyable product. It is also straight up demented in certain points. Fuck, I don't want to spoil some of these things, because these are things that definitely did not exist in the original version of Final Fantasy VII that I don't want Chad to be spoiled to until he comes across them. But there's a couple of things that happen in chapters 5 and 6 where I'm like, wow, those people over at Square Enix are a bunch of old perverts. Not perverts in the sense of being like, oh, we're gonna lasciviously show off the women's bodies. I mean perverts in the sense of just being fucking buck wild. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I am, a lot of the kind of previews and reviews of this game have been saying there's a lot of open world bloat and there are a lot of mini games, and it is going to be interesting to see how my opinion changes with regards to both those things as we go, because for the most part, I've enjoyed all the mini games that the game has thrown at me, and the open world stuff, I feel like I've been able to do a good job of kind of balancing, spending a little bit of time with the open world while still kind of progressing forward. I've not felt like, oh man, this game is just throwing just like a lot of like open world sluggishness at me to kind of pad out a lack of actual substance or story content so far. But I mean, maybe that will change as I go forward. I hope it doesn't, because this game so far is great.
I am, as I mentioned, I'm just starting out in the Junon territory, and which is like the second open area of the game, and I'm not like hooked yet, in the way that like this needs to become my life. In fact, I didn't even play any of it today. Not a single minute. I scraped dog hair off of couch cushions and vacuumed a bunch and did laundry. And like, I could have been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. That being said, I'm still enjoying it a ton. And it is a marvel in how beautiful oh my god, the fucking character models in this thing are absolutely stunning. Yeah, it is a technical marvel, and I'm loving every piece of it. But yeah, I'm not yet like sucked into it to where I'm like this is all I want to do for the rest of time. Although I know that I will get there. I am not struggling, but it is taking me longer than I feel like I thought it would to really get a handle on the combat again. Because there's the ATB gauge that you fill up, there's the stagger gauge, and then there's moves that increase the damage done once you've staggered an enemy, and now there are these sync movements. No, what are they called? Synergy. There are these synergy move attacks that you can do with people, but then there are like the synergy abilities. And then also these synergy attacks that you can unlock for your people. And I don't yet have like a firm, really solid grasp on like what I need to use to power up the other thing that powers up that other thing so that I can be ready to do this thing once they're staggered. But I feel it's starting to get there. Right now, it's really just the synergy attacks, like the regular ass synergy attacks. I'm not 100% sure on like what is the use of those right now. But if you have an idea of that, Alex, go for it.
Well, what's funny is the game, like, definitely, I will say, to be a little bit in your camp, the game definitely does not, like thoroughly go through all of said mechanics as thoroughly as it does in the original Final Fantasy VII Remake. That game, I remember the kind of, like, tutorial for that game taking a little while, and it really being thorough in terms of it teaching you the ins and outs of its systems. This game really does kind of just drop you in there, and unless you're like actively making a point of seeking out and fighting monsters in a lot of the open world areas, I found that the campaign doesn't have quite as many combat encounters compared to, again, the like what I remember Final Fantasy VII Remake's sort of frequency of combat encounters being like.
Yeah.
But again, I think that that's because the open world is sort of meant to make up for that.
I also feel like I can't, in the regular encounters, the regular enemy encounters, I killed them too fast to really get a sense of the flow of combat. So like I can't use the staggering moves to then stagger them and then build up, charges of ATB to then like do a ton of damage because they're just dead too quickly. So then the few times so far that I've come across a boss, I'm like, fuck. I haven't mastered the system yet because I haven't had anything with a ton of health, but now it really counts and I have to make sure that I've got it on lock. So
that is another thing. Like, again, I've not minded that all that much in my playthrough because I have appreciated just being able to like get through enemies and not having to worry about, excuse me, not having to worry about like just getting stonewalled by something that's overly powerful. But I was a little surprised when I booted the game up that the game does not give you the option to play on hard difficulty, considering that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people by now who are playing this game would have at least attempted Final Fantasy VII Remake on hard mode. But I guess they wanted to do the thing where you only unlock hard mode after you've beaten the game and, you replay it through on that.
I think that's what it was with the first one. Because I did New Game Plus on hard mode in order to sweep up the last of those trophies. A couple other things that I'm really, of course, I'm really enjoying Queen's Guard, the card game. There are not enough opportunities so far for me to find it and play it. So I'm like, I beat everyone in the first town, and now I'm like, that's it? Where is there? And then I've come into like 2 people for a quest that have played it. I was like, I want more. I need more. So I'm loving Queen's Guard. And like
Queen's Blood.
Sorry, Queen's Blood? Is it Queen's Blood?
Queen's Blood.
Oh,
Queen's Blood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you, I feel like I've got a handle on the open world stuff. I'm not an open world type person, and I tend to exhaust myself doing all of those things, and then forgetting where I am in the main storyline and not giving a crap, and then just like quitting a game and never coming back to it. But with this one, in the first Grasslands area, I did one of everything just to kind of see, all right, what's this type of open world thing? What's this type of open world thing? and then I found the ones that I like. I am interested in or I care about. Like, what's really cool to me is that the way that they do summons this time, and that like you can battle a summon and try to get it off. It's the same way as they did it in Remake. You can battle a summon and get the materia for it, or you can go out in this open world and do a couple of things and find some secret stuff, and maybe it gets a little bit easier to do it if you're having too much trouble with it. So like I've those are the types of ones that I'm like, cool, I'm going to seek these out specifically, but I'm not going to get bogged down in all the open world stuff everywhere else. With the exception of right now, I know what happens after Junon in the original game, so I'm trying to clean up things in these areas right now before I even progress that part of the story. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm about 10 hours in. I did look up, by the way, there are 14 chapters in this game, so you are about halfway through.
14.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little surprising because did Final Fantasy VII Remake not have like 18 chapters?
This is apparently 4 fewer than Remake has. But also they've confirmed this game ends at the Ancient Temple, which is still like the end of disc 1 of the original game. So there's not a lot of story for this game to cover. So I imagine a lot of the time spent in this game is going to be mini games, open world stuff, and that. So if you're mainlining the story, you might get through it quicker than you expect to.
Do we, as somebody that played through the original Final Fantasy VII, does it seem like it would make sense for them to stretch out the remainder of the game into one more episode, or do you think they would go for 2 more?
Well, they've confirmed it's a trilogy, and
they have.
Yeah,
okay.
Disc 3 of the original game is really just a couple super bosses and Sephiroth, and that's it. So, yeah, they could probably you experience all of the places that exist really in the world in Disc 1. And then Disc 2 is, all right, here's how they all have changed since the events of Disc 1. And you can go and do a bunch of shit. And then Disc 3 is like, all right, the world has changed slightly more and kill the final boss kind of thing. So, yeah, they can wrap all of this up, especially since I'm assuming the world, we're not going to be introduced to brand new, different worlds that don't already exist within this game in the next one. I assume all the same locations and kind of stuff are going to remain the same. But we'll see.
Interesting. I will say, the last thing I'll say on it for the time being, I mean, a lot has happened so far in the game on the route to Chapter 7. It doesn't feel like I'm, like, necessarily at the halfway point. Like, it feels like there's still quite a bit to happen in this particular episode, so I'm interested in seeing how the remaining 7 episodes roll out, because I can see them actually being quite a bit longer than even some of these episodes, which have been like decently long for what they are.
Dallas asked in the chat about 45 minutes ago. He said, Chad, are you auto-upgrading weapons in Final Fantasy VII, or is there a meta you've come across that I should be running? Dallas, so there is the upgrade. So there's a new system in this one that allows you to upgrade your weapons and kind of swap out the upgrade that you want based on, similar to a materia, where you're like, all right, let me choose the one that I want to run this time, and it might give me 200 health, just like an HP up materia would, or it might give me 10% more Punisher mode damage, that kind of stuff. I don't have that's one of the systems of the games that I still don't have a firm grasp on, like what contributes to powering up your weapons, because it doesn't seem like it's a currency, I guess. And they just kind of upgrade over time and unlock new capabilities, and then you just go and choose which one you want. I have not chosen auto yet. I am still just revisiting my weapons every, hour or so and seeing if something new is unlocked and picking from there. But from the reviews that I have listened to of the full game, eventually all of them pretty much just said, I'm going to auto. Like, this is one more system that I can't pay attention to, so I'm going to auto upgrade things. But I've not reached that point myself yet.
Dallas in the chat says, can I ask Kiwi instead? Chapter 3 ? For Chad. He wants Kiwi to answer. So Cozy, same question for you.
Sorry, what? Kiwi? Answer Kiwi?
You haven't been in the chat, bud. We're having a good time in there.
Yeah, I think he was trying to type Cozy,
I've not been paying
but
attention to the
autocorrected
chat.
to Kiwi.
Yeah.
I should probably get a Kiwi that can just appear at random and answer any questions
What a
that
sexual goose
pop up
dance.
in the chat.
Very good. All right. Anything else? Or are we ready to move on from Final Fantasy VII talk?
Wait, Alex,
No.
did you answer the question?
Oh.
Did you?
Oh, are you actually? I didn't know if the question was about auto upgrading.
Yeah, are you auto upgrading your weapons, Cozy, or are you manually choosing things?
I am manually choosing things. And I don't like to spend too much time in the menus, but I've been trying to get my head around the systems because I do eventually want to see through it platinuming this, even if it is going to take dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. So I'm trying early on to try and get acclimatized to the ins and outs of all the minutia of the weapon upgrades and whatnot.
I gotta admit that it's the platinum trophy on this doesn't seem like unattainable. It's very similar to the last one where it's like do it on hard mode, complete all the side quests, that kind of thing. Not all of the open world events, but like the side quests at least, I think. But I did both playthroughs, New Game Plus, got the platinum trophy in like 70 hours on the last game. And that just seems like a regular playthrough on this one, not including hard mode and all the side stuff. So like this one could be a much longer platinum trophy than I anticipated.
All right, very cool. I'm going to go move on to our last story for the day. So this one was basically, there was a big layoff story at the beginning of the week, and then everyone was like, fuck us too, because everyone's paying attention to those guys. So this is just like one or two sentences on a bunch of the stuff that happened. Rapid fire, all the major layoff news. This is multiple. It's from like IGN and VGC and Game Informer and all of those places. So just bear with me. So Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced layoffs at various PlayStation first-party studios, including Insomniac, Naughty Dog, Guerrilla Games, and Firesprite. It is also closing London Studio, the team behind PlayStation's VR Blood and Truth and VR Worlds. According to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, Firesprite had a Twisted Metal game in the works that has now been canceled. He reports the game was a live service that was very early in development and was not officially greenlit yet. So any thoughts on the Sony stuff? I think it was like 900 people total and like 6% of their workforce, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was interested to see that Bungie was not specifically listed as this round as well. Like they called out Naughty Dog and Insomniac and a few others, but I guess Bungie's was preemptive when they did it several months ago last year.
Yeah.
And they thought we might just be able to get away with only Bungie, but now it's like, no, everyone else. Honestly, I was trying to figure out like, this sounds extreme, but game layoffs to me are feeling like school shootings where it's like they're happening all the time. And they suck, but I can't have feelings about them anymore because it doesn't seem like anything's going to change. And it's just acknowledging they suck. Thoughts and prayers. That's all I've got. That's all we can do because it's I don't know. It's an epidemic right now of layoffs in this industry.
All those companies are correcting their books because they overshot and they got to go back.
Thankfully, it's something that didn't happen, but what I was reading is that apparently Media Molecule, creators of Little Big Planet, Dreams, so on and so forth, like came very nearly close to also being closed alongside London Studio. And they avoided that, although not without some layoffs as well, which is pretty, yeah.
We hope that they do good in the future. That's one I'd be worried about would be Media Molecule being like the next one to be like, but we'll see. Electronic Arts has announced that it too is undergoing mass layoffs with 5% of its total global staff, or roughly 670 individuals. EA said it's moving away from the development of future licensed IP, and the big one, well, all of it sucks, but the main one here was that the EA is canceling Respawn's Star Wars FPS, which was announced last year, but had not been fully revealed. So, Respawn game, people who are good at making first-person shooters, that game got canceled, which is a rough one. Let's see. Sources have told Kotaku Gearbox CEO Reggie Pitchford held a town hall meeting with his staff this week, told him decisions have been made regarding the studio's future. Kotaku claims the decision has been made to sell Gearbox to another company, then a deal was finalized. So now we're starting to see this in the next one. Embracer's like, yeah, we don't know what we're doing. Get rid of this one. Sell them off. Which I guess is better than being closed, I suppose. And then they also, Embracer is reportedly set to sell Saber Interactive in a deal worth $500 million. A Bloomberg report citing a source familiar with the transaction says the studio is being sold to a group of private investors. Saber will also reportedly continue to work on KOTOR remake following that deal. And lastly, Crash 4 developer Toys for Bob has officially gone indie while going independent, would notably derive Toys for Bob of access to IPs it's become known for, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. Sounds like there might be hope. After all, Toys for Bob goes on to state that it's currently exploring a possible partnership between our new studio and Microsoft. Adds that both Microsoft and Activision are extremely supportive of its new direction.
Yeah. I mean, that's good to hear, because last we heard of them, it seemed like Toys for Bob had been sort of entirely subsumed by the Activision Call of Duty machine. And yeah, whatever they can do to remain afloat and, retain their individualism, I guess.
Yeah, better than closing down. Just go indie and try to work with a partner, which sounds like a better idea for sure. So yeah, a lot of shit that happened was rough, but I mean, like Chet said, it's just literally every week. So
yeah,
is what it is.
I'm really interested in this like slight turn where Embracer bought a bunch of people, and now Gearbox is looking let me move out of here. Let me undo what we just did. Saber Interactive, we're all right. We might be on our way out of Embracer as well. Microsoft acquires Activision, and Toys for Bob is let free. It feels like Khaleesi just went and liberated Slaver's Bay and is now saying, all right, we killed all the slave masters in Activision, and now Toys for Bob, like, you're free. Do what you want. You don't have to work on Call of Duty maps anymore. And so that's really cool that, like, she's Microsoft, like, I don't know, all these people are being freed from these awful chains and bonds that they've had for the last, however many years and decades that these companies have been under these people they hate. And now they're like, oh, good, we're getting out.
I think the coolest one for me here would be the Saber one. Not that about the KOTOR remake. I mean, we'll see when we see, which is never, but just the fact that they get to become their own studio, that they got sold to private investor, and like, you guys are your own studio now. We're not like an Embracer, like making you do projects. So hopefully that works out well for them. We'll see. And that's it for the news. We're going to move on to, hey Chad, do a Game of Thrones inspired song, because you mentioned Game of Thrones 5 seconds ago.
I'm trying to, like, in my brain, I'm just like, is there anything other than the theme song? Is there another song somewhere
that's only
that
one
I can
I know.
remember? I know there's that. What's the redhead ginger music guy who's in it, and he sang a song in one episode, and everyone's like, I hate it. Oh yeah, Ed Sheeran. I can't remember the song that he was singing. Segment from Adam. Segment from Adam. Segment from Adam. Wiener, tiny wiener. Nice and soft, non-erect wiener.
Jenny of Old Stone. Is that the name of the song? It's from Dallas in the chat. I don't know, Jenny. You just want to Google that?
Hold on.
I don't know.
What does the redhead Ed sing in Game of Thrones? Is it the Jenny song, like a real one that they put in GOT, or is it an original song for GOT? The character Bronn, played by Jerome Flynn, sang The Dornishman's Wife in Season 5, and Ed Sheeran appeared in a cameo to perform Hands of Gold, composed by Ramin Djawadi in Season 7. So it's Hands of Gold is the name of the song, not Jenny of the Block or whatever.
If you just Google Jenny of Old Stones, it pops up and talks about Ed Sheeran doing it in Game of Thrones.
Creamery.
Here we go. You're not going to get anything.
Jenny of Old Stones. A wiki of Ice and Fire is the website. Jenny of Old Stones, alternatively titled My Jenny Song, is a song that appeared in HBO Epic. Oh, he's naming other Game of Thrones songs, not specifically trying to name the Ed Sheeran song. Okay.
Yeah. I assume so. Yeah. Thanks, Dallas. Be more clear next time.
Yeah.
But yes, we're going to do our best games of the month, because it's the end of...
Apparently Jenny of Old Stones is a Florence and the Machine song. I didn't know that. Was Florence in Game of Thrones? Sing this? Like,
are you going to Google it?
Did Florence...
Look at Cozy's face
the one from the Final Fantasy 15 cover of When the Night Was Young. What is that song? Stand By Me.
This was supposed to be a segment where we talked about how great
the FF15 cover of Stand By Me actually appear in the episode of Game of
sometimes,
Thrones that she sang Jenny of Old Stones in?
He really types all that in every time.
Jenny of Old Stones is a haunting song she performed over the end credits. Okay, so no, it was not an actual cameo.
We have our answers.
That comes from VanityFair.com.
Thank you, Vanity Fair. So this is segment, the best games of the month of February that just happened. Shortest month of the year, even though it's Black History Month. I am not letting that go. So number 1 on the list, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at a 92 on Metacritic, doing very well for itself. Number 2.
It's interesting. If I can just interject real quick. Earlier when we talked about our impressions of this game, we talked about how, this game has not been immune from criticism online. There have been, many people expressing mixed thoughts on, again, the game's open world elements, on the game's excess amount of mini games. Interesting that despite all that, the game is apparently the second highest rated Final Fantasy game of all time on Metacritic. I guess it just shows how strong the single player campaign is, or how much, I guess, perhaps most people don't really mind the open world stuff. Maybe it is a bit more of a bubble in that regard.
Well, you notice when people are nitpicky, it's because they're like, oh, the game is so good. I guess I need to give some sort of criticism, even though I think it's wonderful. That's when you start getting that seems like a small thing, or that seems like not a huge deal. That's normally when you notice it with really good reviews. It's like, also, I got to find something.
The direct correlation between value you get from a game and length of the game. I just found out the Platinum Trophy takes about 150 to 200 hours to get. So that's probably why people are rating it so highly, because there's so much value in this game, over 200 hours.
Yeah, that's why reviewers give it a high score, because that amount of hours for money. Number 2 on the list is Balatro at a 90 on Metacritic. Good for them.
Awesome game.
Did you see
Can you get a card that looks like Balto and Balatro?
I don't think so.
I definitely watched one of those movies. Did you see the news story about how this game is getting removed from the Switch eShop in a few territories?
Oh yeah, because the people are just reflexively thinking it's a gambling app.
Yeah, the rating board,
gambling.
Peggy changed it to Peggy 18 because they thought, oh, it's a game about poker. It's a game that instructs you in how to gamble. And the Balatro people are like, no, it's not that. It's not that. We're going to work this out.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I don't live in Australia, where you're censored for everything.
Right.
Ooh, we can't do anything down there.
No, it's because they have to constantly leap out of the way of giant spiders trying to eat them. So they need their games to be an escape from the danger.
That's what it
so
is.
the government's protecting them.
They're protecting the people. Yeah. Number 3. I don't remember if we mentioned this last month or not, but Persona 3 Reload was an 88. Technically came out in February, but I think the reviews were early, but whatever. It was technically a February game. So the next 2, Spirit Hunter Deathmark 2 is an 85.
On the beach.
It's a Switch game. It has 8 reviews, but it's at an 85, so I put it on here. Don't know what it is, never heard of it. And Solium Infernum, an 84, was the next game on the list. Helldivers 2 on the beach at an 82, and last on the list, Ultros at an 81. Pretty solid month overall. Got some heavy hitters and some pretty good stuff down here in the 80s. So,
Deathmark on the beach. Spirit Hunter Deathmark on the beach. If I was into anime art style, I might be interested in this game. It looks like a spooky kind of
Let me look this up.
Here's the thing. I do a lot, I do this segment every month, and there's constantly visual novels and weird Japanese games that only come to Switch that are always in the
it's like a horror
80s.
game.
Yeah. I never put them on because it's there's 6 reviews and no one's ever heard of this game, but they always review well. So I normally don't include it. I did this month just because I felt like it. But you would say game of the year stuff. I mean, FF7 obviously feels like a heavy hitter. I think Balatro is amazing. Definitely look out that for just indie stuff in general. And then I guess the next one on here would maybe, because I love Helldivers, but I don't think that's really a game of the year kind of game. I think it's an amazing game. I don't think it needs to be game of the year. I guess maybe Persona 3 is the other one people should pay attention to, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am balls deep with my eyes into looking at Solium Infernum. Have you looked at this game, Adam? I feel like this would be way up your alley. It's like Diablo strategy game.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm very interested in that. I saw it when I looked it up, the scores. Yeah. I think I'll check it out. But yeah, I say those top 3 for sure. Check them out. Game of the year. The other ones are just fun. And one of them might be a visual novel. I don't know. That's my segment. Oh, wait a minute. No. Continuing. Time to check in on Fantasy Critic. Ooh, everybody. We've had another month of games. More stuff is coming out. We're going to check on these fantasy critic scores. We're just going to go top to bottom, not in any particular order, not calling anybody out, not bragging. Nothing's going on. For everyone who doesn't know, we have a fantasy critic league between the three of us. You know, you draft games, the scores, get points, whatever. You know how fantasy critic league works. First up, Cozy Bear Productions currently has one game out. On OpenCritic, it has a 93 for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So Cozy has 27 points on his one video game. Good for you, Cozy. Any game over 90 gets you those little double points at the end. Good for you. Cozy has not picked up a single game, by the way, so far.
Yeah,
We're in March.
I will say, like, man, this is going to be such an interesting fantasy critic. I will admit that I've not done a very good job of checking in on it and going over what are some new games I can add to my list. But like knowing that Sony is kind of in a weird funk and that it's holding most of its big AAA games to next year, knowing that weird stuff's going on with the Switch and the Switch successor, and that might only show up next year as well. Xbox being Xbox, I am kind of looking ahead and I'm like, am I even going to be able to fill like 5 or so games on this list? Like, I'm probably going to have to be very tactful in terms of finding those like weird indie games that have a lot of promise to them if I want to kind of cinch my victory here.
Yeah, we got to start just Googling weird Japanese Switch games.
Well, I don't want to give you guys any clues, but there's a thing called third-party games where a bunch of my scoring games are all third-party games that are scored close to 90. So just like a heads up, you can do those too. But you do have to look. You have to pay attention. But again, we've got more announcements. You'll be fine. Next up is Chad with Poopy Soft.
Half my games are third-party games.
That's true. Very, very true. Wait, no, they're not.
Yes, they are. Metaphor, Black Myth, and Metal Gear.
No, you're right. Chad currently has 7 points, only scoring with Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. Shocked it didn't. You expecting this to probably do in the mid-80s, huh?
I don't know. We did this 6 weeks ago. I don't know what I was thinking back then. I was 33 years old. I was a different man.
Okay, understandable.
But I do have 4 open spots where I can put in some newly announced sex winners later.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And then currently in first place is What's Left of Embracer. That name gets more ironic as the months go by. Is Adam Me in lead with 57 points. Persona 3 Reload getting me 18, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth getting me 19, and Tekken 8 getting me 20 points. I have
worth pointing out, none of those 3 games gave you as many points as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gave me.
They all gave me more points than Metroid Prime 4 will. So
we'll see.
But none of them are 18 ice Pokemon.
That's very true, very true. So just a little update. Cozy is in a strong second with 1 game being over 90. Adam's in the lead because Adam knows how to play this game. And Chad is in last place, but he did pick up a game, unlike Cozy.
But listen, I've got Senua's Saga coming up. I got Metal Gear Solid coming up. I got the Japanese-ass Metaphor Refantasio Persona shit coming up. Black Myth Wukong looks impossible, but it's coming up. I got some bangers.
Metaphor will definitely get you points. I think Metaphor is probably going to be close to a 90. Yeah. I would not be shocked at all. So, good stuff. And then that's my segment. I've gone through the things. We've talked smack, because that's what you do when you play games with your friends. Chad, you can continue.
Oh, we got a cozy question of the week.
Wait, are we doing this one?
Yeah, you got to introduce the cozy question of the week.
Cozy, are we doing a question of the week?
Yes, we are.
Okay, go for it. I forgot I was hosting for a second.
Hell yeah. You got to give me my intro song.
Cozy's got a... Wait, hold on. Let me do this. What's a System of a Down song? Because Dallas is talking about that. Cozy's question of the week, System of a Down.
All right. So this is Cozy's question of the week. This is where I recycle questions that I write into other shows so that we can do them on this show so that they don't languish and die in some obscure inbox on some weird server somewhere. Last time we did this, Adam wanted us to answer a gaming question. So this time we will answer a non-gaming question or 2. Chad.
That's me.
Pick a number between 1 and 4.
2.1.
2.1.
You gotta start saying integer.
I'm gonna round
down.
Integer. I'm gonna round down to 2.
Okay.
Which means that we are going with question number 2 on my list, which is, if you could summon a door that allowed you to instantly travel to and from one and only one room in your house at any moment, what room would you choose?
Can I access this door from anywhere at any
Yes.
time? Okay.
But so here's the thing. So you are able to summon this door wherever you are. You open the door, you enter into your chosen room. You can't go into any other room in your house from there.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you're locked to that one room. Of course, you can go to your house in real life and then go to any other room that way. But via the door portal instantaneously appear wherever you want, you only have access to the one chosen room.
Well, the easy answer is your bathroom, right? I'm not one of those people who like is freaked out about peeing or pooping in public. I don't enjoy it, but like if you could at any time be like, oh shit, I got to take a dookie. Let me just bloop. All right, I'm in my bathroom at home, poop at home with my wipes. Maybe I'll JoJo while I'm there. I can do that in the privacy of my home. JoJo is my euphemism for jerking off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You could do that at work.
course.
too.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that anywhere. I could poop anywhere, but like, yeah, and go to the bathroom and do that, and then you could like put a bunch of beers in the toilet or in the bathtub, and you can just turn your bathroom into every other room you need. Maybe put a PlayStation Portal in there.
But will you be able to fit a bed in there? Because to kind of shift over to me, it's tough. Like making that one room the bathroom definitely makes a lot of sense. It's always convenient to have a toilet that you can access wherever you are. But I find that oftentimes in the life I leave, I'm in situations where I'm never struggling to find a public restroom. And so I would rather go with my bedroom, just have a nice, convenient place for me to relax. My bedroom doesn't have any of my video game consoles, and so I'd be locked out of that stuff. But honestly, I'm kind of fine with just sort of keeping things analog and just having a room for me to rest and recuperate in. I understand there are many kind of downsides because I don't have access to any food. Again, no bathroom related ish stuff like that. But like, there are so many times where I'm at work and I'm like, man, I just wish I could lounge in my big armchair that's in my room rather than sitting in this stiff ass office chair. And so, yeah, that's what I would go with.
Interesting. I've got one. Dal said it in the chat, and obviously it's the right answer.
That's not
I would
how
do
it
the
goes,
front door.
Dallas says front door. You can go anywhere in your house. That's not how it works.
Well,
the door goes to
No,
a
I know the
room.
rules is you can't. Well, you said any door, and you can't go into another room of the house, correct?
Right. So you're just going to stand in your entryway, Dallas?
So, well, let me explain this. Well, no, let me explain mine one. I would do the front door, right? Because what I would use it for was to come home for like lunches or like get a snack, whatever. Instead of like, because like when I don't work in an office, so whenever I want to stop there somewhere and get something, I have to go somewhere. So I have this magical thing that goes to my front door. Front door has a hallway. The living room is here. All open floor plan. Living room here. Kitchen here. And then there's stairs, but those doors will be closed upstairs, so it doesn't matter. But my front door gets me my living room and my kitchen. So if I want to take a break, sit on the couch.
But
and eat a
are
snack,
your living
there you go.
room and kitchen both one room, or are they distinct
Yes.
rooms?
It is one room. There's not a
Okay.
there's not a
I mean,
wall
that's-
between them.
Well, in that case...
That's fine.
In
That's
that case,
fine. If they're one room, that's fine.
I
but
can literally
yes,
reach
anyways.
into my kitchen. If I lean off camera, I can put my hand into my kitchen, and like this is all open, and we don't close doors here because then Atreus gets...
No, the doors are closed magically.
No, the doors aren't closed magically because Atreus gets weird about
That's
it.
what Cozy said.
So I could
if you
just
take
come
the
in my
door
attempt
own
to
house,
reach your
yeah.
hand, if you try to walk into a section of the house that you're not allowed to go into, it will stop. Like there will be like an invisible barrier, like in a video game. If you try to reach your hand in, you can do that, but your hand might not come out correctly. It might be glitching out a
There's
little
a
bit.
barrier in the implied separation of the rooms, not necessarily just in doorways. Because this is not a doorway leading me to my. This is.
Well, I would say for you,
Here's
Chad,
the camera.
you
Here's
have-
the camera. I'm going to show everyone.
Okay.
This is my kitchen.
I like
right
this
here. I can go
hypothetical,
into my
Kelsey. Yes,
kitchen.
exactly.
Right there.
This makes sense.
That's
Your
not a
front
door.
door, you walk in, you can access your kitchen. You can access your living room. You cannot access your bedroom or your bathroom, which I am fine with because I'm only using it for breaks at work. So I don't care only having my kitchen and only having my living room.
If you try to jump through that thing that you just showed us, Chad, it'll be like you'll go through the floor. Like none of the rest of your house will have collision, and you'll just fall through endless space.
Alex, I don't know why
until
you're
you get
defending
respawned.
cheating. Like the Adam
not cheating.
and Dallas are trying to cheat at your game, and you're just like making it easier for them to do so.
I'm trying to really Ryan Scott this hypothetical. Just make it as difficult as possible.
No, let's be honest. I'll jerk off and poop anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, there you go.
And that's that for Cozy's question of the week.
And that brings
Do you
us
wanna
to
sit with
Game
two?
On Game Show. The Game On Game Show, we play
do you
game called
wanna-
Game On. What do we talk over this? Is that the new thing? Do we talk over me saying Game On Game Show?
I'm quiet.
Adam asked if we want to do 2. I mean, I'm fine if you want to do 2. Keep it real short and quick.
Well, I'm not doing the
All right,
intro
Adam?
again, so
Okay.
just do the second question,
Yeah.
and then we'll just jump right into the game.
All right. Pick a number between 5 to 8.
Who? Me?
7.3.
Okay.
7.3. I will round down to 7. What are your favorite, speaking of keeping things short and quick, what are your favorite acronyms?
Googling what acronym means?
JoJo. The reason I say JoJo is because I was saying JO, which is jerk off, and now I just say JoJo, which is just the acronym twice.
But wouldn't it be like J?
Well, it's check off, right?
I was going to say, yeah, it would just be Joe, J-O.
Well, that's the original acronym. And then
He
JoJo
does it
is a
twice,
new
though.
acronym.
I will say, I know it's not technically an acronym. What's the thing when it's like Tom Riddle is Voldemort? What's that? What's that thing
is,
called? It's an acronym, but it's
an anacra. No.
Anagram?
Yes, anagram.
anagram. Okay, acronyms. You know what? I'm just looking at this Google page of it. I am a fan of ASAP, and I'm a fan of NASA.
Ooh.
What
I
does
like both
what does
of those.
NASA stand for again? National Aeronautics.
National
Space.
Aerospace something, whatever. National Aerospace Association.
It is always weird when you learn about like things that you don't think are anagrams that actually are anagrams. Like snafu, for example. Snafu just
snafu's
sounds
not
like
just a word.
Wait.
It sounds
It's
like
an acronym.
it's
It's
just
not an
a word.
anagram. We can't get these confused now.
What?
What does snafu stand for?
Snafu stands for situation normal, all fucked up.
Oh,
It
that's like
means that-
FUBAR. Is
Yeah, fucked
yeah,
up
fucked up beyond all
recognition,
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
assume snafu was just a word that's like things are messed up, but no, that's interesting. It's By
FUBAR is
the
really
way-
good in that regard too.
National Aeronautics and Space Administration is what NASA stands
Got it.
for.
Ooh.
Cool as shit.
I do
Um,
also want to throw out there, I don't know what it stands for, but Stalker, like from the video game
Yeah.
series.
Oh yeah, there's periods in it. I don't know if those mean anything, but
Yeah.
here are 3 more that I really like. The Dennis system from Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay.
The second one is a video game related one. The official Xbox One acronym was, I think it was just XB1, right? XB. I guess that's not technically an acronym, but it was Xbone. And
Yeah,
then the
Xbone was
last
good.
one
Yeah.
is Bow Body.
Bow body?
Bow Body, which is an acronym from an episode of The Office where Creed is trying to be boss for like 2 minutes. And they are doing the reverse, where they're not trying to come up with an acronym for an existing thing. He comes up with a word and he says, Bow Body, Bow Body. What does the first B stand for? And Kevin goes, business. And he goes, I like it. So then they're just like trying to fill out the acronym.
Just making one up.
Yeah.
I got
I made a discovery.
Okay.
So Stalker, we know it as a video game series. It's basically, people will know that it's lightly influenced by the 1979 movie, also called Stalker, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. That Stalker, not an acronym. And so I'm like, okay, interesting. So they turned it from like a word that was not an acronym into an acronym. So I went on the official Wikipedia page for the Stalker video game series, and here's what it says. The name Stalker is a backronym. And I'm like, what the hell is a backronym? A backronym, according to the official Wikipedia page for backronyms, is an acronym formed from an already existing word by expanding its letters into the words of a phrase. Which I did not know about,
So like
but makes
Shield and
perfect
Sword
sense.
from MCU
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be, or well, I guess
Turning
Marvel,
into
not
something.
MCU, but
in the case of Stalker, by the way, it stands for Scavengers, Trespassers, Adventurers, Loners, Killers, Explorers, and Robbers.
Wasn't
It was in the
Stalker
chat.
2 shown off at like the Xbox Series X reveal?
Yeah.
That one's coming out this year. Yeah.
Is it? It's still not out?
That was a studio where that studio has been embroiled in the Ukraine Russian kind of
Oh, that's
conflict.
right.
The
that's been
community
going
manager put
Yeah.
on armor, was like, hey guys, I'm on the front line fighting Russia. It's like,
on.
oof.
So
All right.
they definitely get a pass for
Yep.
that game being a little delayed.
A little bit. All right, Chad, we're going to go on to the next one. You don't have to sing it.
All
We're
right.
good. We're here.
We are playing GameStop Black Jack with the twist, baby.
Okay.
Here's the twist. 2023 had a lot of banger games.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of bangers. But how long does that bang last? Are these games still worth anything? So here's the twist on the game. We're not necessarily playing blackjack this time where you're trying to keep it under. I'm going to give you, how many spots do I have here? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say 6. I want you all to think of 6 games that came out in 2023
Yeah.
and try to get the highest value.
Oh, okay.
What is the highest trade-in value you can get to? If you are taking 6 games, 6 physical games that you bought last year in 2023, and you are bringing them into GameStop to try to get the most money you can, what would be that value? Or what would
From
be those
2023.
games?
The bad thing is that we're not going to get over $40 total for all of these.
So here's
Okay,
here's how
who's
this is
going
going to
first?
work. Alex asked me to pick a number last time between 1 and 4. So I'm going to ask Adam to pick a letter between omega and epsilon.
Ooh.
Phi.
Okay. That means you are going first.
Ooh.
I actually think phi might come later in the Greek alphabet. I'm not
Don't
sure
know.
than epsilon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
No,
Adam.
that's not alpha or omega. I can tell you that much.
So here's the thing. Again, of course, it has to be a 2023 game released in 2023 physically. You have to specify the platform because those vary, and we are going to go with whatever the highest amount is. This would be GameStop trade-in credit. That's fine. Whatever the highest number is that it's worth.
Spider-Man 2 PS5.
Ooh, Spider-Man
Damn
2
it.
PS. Here, hold on. You want to know something disgusting? Well, I guess it's not
What's
that
that?
disgusting because it did ship at $40. And just the first thing on the GameStop trade-in site, you can get $16.50 for Helldivers 2 right now. Like the biggest fucking game on the planet right now, and you can get less than half the value of it. Anyway, sorry.
Classic GameStop.
What did you say? So Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Search. Go. Cannot open the page. Great. Wonderful, GameStop. How are you still not? Okay, here we go. Not the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. There we go.
Yeah, Marvel. Yeah.
Hold on. The screenshot has launch edition. Let me just make sure there's not another version of this game. It doesn't look like it. Okay, so the only version of Spider-Man 2, it says the regular version. The screenshot says launch edition, but I don't think that matters. $38.50.
Oh boy, I'm hitting the big money. Let's go. I'll take it.
$38.50. Alex, what's your first game?
Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh, Super Mario Wonder. Big seller last year. What do you think this one's running?
I'm going to say it's very slightly under Spider-Man 2.
You would be incorrect because it is exactly the same.
Oh.
$38.50.
Wow. Okay.
For Nintendo Switch.
Interesting.
All right, Adam, number 2.
Give me Tears of the Kingdom, baby.
Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. What's your strategy with this one? Why that one?
Well, I don't know if Cozy did the same reason, but Nintendo games never go on sale, so their
interesting.
trade-in value should probably be a decent amount, you would hope.
All right, yeah, and you weren't wrong. $33 is the price of Tears of the Kingdom, which is respectable.
I'll take it.
All right, Cozy, what's your second game?
Super Mario RPG. I don't know how the rest of the song goes.
Oh, Mario
Sonic
RPG.
the Hedgehog, Donkey Kong 3, Adventures of Lolo 1 and 2. Yeah, I know those.
What is that?
It's a bit from Nirvana, the band, the movie, the show, whatever that thing
Okay.
is. It's very funny. It's a sketch show.
$27.50.
Okay.
Still pretty
Okay.
valuable. Not quite Tears of the Kingdom yet. So, y'all have picked 2 of your 6 games. Adam, you're at $71.50. Cozy, you're at $66. Adam, what's your third game?
I've got an idea, but I feel this one's a gamble because it is later in the year, so normally those are worth more. But I also don't know how popular it is.
Before I leave this page, you might be interested to know if you still have the SNES cartridge of Super Mario RPG. That gets you $38.50 today at GameStop.
Oh, yeah, cartridges are expensive. Yeah, it makes sense. So this one's a bit of a gamble, but it's a very late game in the year, and it was a $70 game when it came out. So we'll see what they say. But Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
Oh. For which platform?
Let's do PS5.
Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora for PS5. I will let you know you did pick the better of the 2 platforms because this one is about 50% more valuable than the Xbox version.
Oh Lord, it's gonna be low.
$27.50.
Okay. The Xbox one's like only $13 or whatever.
The Xbox One is $18.70.
Okay, that's All right, cool.
All right, Alex. Game number 3. What's going to bring you to the halfway point of our... You got to get $33 if you want to match Adam at the halfway point here.
I'm going to shoot my shot. Final Fantasy 7-16.
What?
Final Fantasy 16. I got Final Fantasy 7 on the brain.
Final
Fantasy
16.
XVI for PS5.
For PS5. That is the only platform that it came out on. I'm glad you did not say the deluxe version because that currently has no value, though does register in their system.
Damn.
FFXVI gets you not as close as you need to be, but still a respectable $18.70. So we're going into the second half here now. You've got 3 games remaining for both of you. Adam's got $99. That's enough for like a collector's edition of something.
Yeah.
And Cozy, you're at $84.70, so you can probably get like the deluxe edition and koozie. Adam, what's your fourth game?
I've got 2 in mind. Cozy won't think of the second one, so I'll go with the first one. Pikmin 4.
Oh, Pikmin 4. Obviously for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
If you chose the Nintendo Wii version, you'd get $19.80 for Pikmin 2. If you chose the GameCube version of Pikmin 2, you'd get $22. You think Pikmin 4 is above or below those?
Probably below.
You are incorrect. It is above at $29.70.
Ooh, I'll take it. Look at all this money we're getting at GameStop. I'm shocked.
It seems that Nintendo strategy seems to work pretty well.
I'll counter Adam's Nintendo with a Nintendo of my own. Metroid Prime Remastered.
Oh, I was about to say, what are you going to say here?
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime Remaster. Okay. This game, Metroid Prime Remaster, gets you $27.50.
Okay.
Well, that game wasn't full price when it came out, was it?
Yeah. Well, it's $60, right?
It released. Shadow launched on the eShop like a month ahead of it releasing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In retailers.
Right, yeah. All right, we've got 2 games left.
2 left. Okay.
Adam, you're at $128.70. Cozy's at $112.20.
Yeah. Gonna go with the strategy again. Give me Fire Emblem Engage.
Fire Emblem Engage,
which was a January release, but it is a Switch exclusive, so maybe that's a little boost.
Fire Emblem Engage, rated T for teen. $16.50.
Okay.
Looks like Fire Emblem does not have the same staying power as most other Nintendo releases. Okay, Alex. We've got 2 opportunities here to come back and win this thing.
Shooting my shot. Baldur's Gate Le 3 for Le PS5.
Oh, give him a big fat 0, Chad.
Alex, I regret to inform you that game is a digital-only release with a physical version coming in 2024.
Oh, it's like Alan Wake 2. I want to say, for the record, I was not actually even aware of that. That wasn't like a, I forgot kind of thing. I legit am not paying attention to that. Do I get to go again, or do I get to skip?
I'll let you go again, but if you win, you get an asterisk.
I like it.
Okay.
I do technically have a 7th spot open on both of your lists. So what's your replacement for Baldur's Gate 3?
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 remake for which platform?
PS5.
Resident Evil. Hold on. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 4 remake. You again chose the right platform. It is about 50, almost double the value of the Series X version.
Wow.
And it is, I don't know, maybe about 40% more valuable than the PS4 version. But it's still only $22.
Okay.
So not quite the banger you need, unless Adam really whiffs it here. So we're down to our final game. You're choosing one more title, released in 2023. Adam, you're at 145.20. Alex, you're at 134.20. So just $11 behind.
Yeah. What was his last one he just said?
Resident Evil 4
Resident
for
Evil.
PS5.
Okay. I'm gonna. I don't know how much that would be. I'm trying to think like what would be. I don't know if I go with another. I don't know. There's any Nintendo left or like a rare thing. But like because I'm like there's probably some visual novel game that trades in for like $30 or like $50 because no one's ever had it. Alan Wake 2. Nope, can't do that one. Give me Dead Space Remake PS5.
Oh, Dead Space Remake for PS5.
They'd only give me like $12. I don't think it's going to be a lot.
This is another one where it is, again, twice as valuable as the Xbox Series X version. That's wild. People really don't. You know what I bet it is? GameStop sees that digital future coming on Xbox. And they don't want to give you any money for those discs because they don't want them.
Yep.
So Dead Space Remake, interesting game because it came out in January. So it is now like over a year old, but still gets you $19.80.
Okay. I'm very shocked that they got that much for it.
So that means right now, Adam is sitting at $165 even. Cozy, you're at $134.20. You need a game that will get you at least $30.80. $30.
It's going to be tough. I don't think this game will cinch it for me, but I don't think it's a bad choice. I'm going to go with the Nintendo Switch exclusive Bayonetta Origins: Syriza and the Lost Demon.
Oh, Bayonetta Origins is a physical release. I had my doubts as I was typing it into the search engine. It did get a physical release.
That?
I'm typing it now into the spreadsheet. Bayonetta Origins. How far off do you think you are, Alex?
I think I'm within, I'm going to say $5 of winning.
You needed, again, $30.80. And you got exactly half that with $15.40. Bringing our final totals to Adam at $165. What are you going to buy with all that, Adam?
Oh, like 2 video games. Basically.
You can buy a bunch of V-Bucks. Cozy, that brings you to $149.60 with an asterisk, but this time it's a positive asterisk saying this was all in American dollars, which I know values are weird and different, so.
Yeah, I mean, that'll definitely help out a little bit. I had to pay over $100 Canadian to buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oof, you could have bought 3 Subarus for that.
Yeah.
That's what you call a callback.
Boy.
Oh, man.
Oh, I just realized I didn't fucking have the screen up this whole time. God damn it. Well, there it is, everyone who's watching. There's the chart. Now we'll go back to not showing you the chart again as we wrap up this episode, because that's the end of Game on Game Show, and that is the end of episode 346 of Respawn Aim Fire. Imminent, important things. We have a new barf game for the month of March. You all voted over on patreon.com/respawnaimfire and Twitter unanimously, not unanimously, but both outcomes were the same. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is the game we are playing for the month of March. The theme was AAA short games. And so we are doing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. This is a one-sitting game, depending on how long you sit. It is also equally as short platinum game if you just know where to look. So follow a guide if you would like to platinum this on PlayStation, or you can play it for free on Xbox Game Pass. I think it's free on Xbox Game Pass. They've been part of Microsoft for long enough. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, Hellblade, or you could play this in VR on PC if you would like, which I'm sure would be a really interesting, wild experience. So yeah, go play Hellblade. We played, as Cozy mentioned earlier, Castlevania Lords of Shadow. We will have that up very shortly this week, so check that out. Is Mountain Dew Man still coming?
I believe we have a special Mountain Dew guest coming in still.
Ooh.
Right. Pepsi Man. Mountain Dew is a Pepsi product, unfortunately. Not all good things have good homes. That's why if you would like to sign up to be a foster parent, this is a wonderful service that you can provide to Mountain Dew to get it out of a bad home. And that's it for our show. Actually, still go to Patreon because you get other cool things like Pitch Perfect. We had a lot of really great guests from a lot of places. Some of them have been on the show before. Some of them, this was their first time on the show. We had Kyle Stevenson from the Trophy Room in 6-1 Indie. We had Mario Rivera from
Point in Progress.
Point in Progress. I should know that. We had John Hansen from Pixel Street podcast. We had Samson Lee from... Damn, I should know the name of his show too.
Growing Up Gaming. Level Up Game. Level Up
Grow Up.
Fuck.
I think is what it is.
Level Up Grow Up. There it is. I'm like, I literally just looked at that. Yeah.
We did something different this time in that neither Chad nor Adam were present for this episode. It was just me wrangling up all the wonderful guest hosts that we had for this episode. And I had some pretty cool new graphics, pretty cool new segments, pretty cool new thingies that I think longtime fans of the podcast will appreciate. I'm trying to do what I can to level up our setups, and I think you'll find it a lot of fun.
Check that out. It is on patreon.com/respawn-aim-fire right now for the next 27 days, and then it will go to everyone else on April 1st-ish. And if you are a person who hates us and you have not supported us on Patreon, guess what? We still love you, and we're giving you gifts anyway. So you got last month's show is now available to everyone. Video game trivia with Jacob McCourt. He took all three of us against each other through some gauntlets of video game questions that were very, very fun. In fact, the ice Pokemon joke that I said earlier today, that like everyone cracked up and thought was the best joke ever. Maybe that's a reference to that game show. Who knows? Go check that out. Everyone can view that now, podcast services and YouTube as well. And then finally, PAX. We're going to PAX in like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
2.5.
Yeah, we're going to PAX. So if you're going to be at PAX in Boston legally, then come say hi to us. If you are breaking in, you don't have a ticket or anything like that. Well, first of all, you can still get tickets. But second of all, if you're not getting a ticket and you're sneaking in just to see us, that's cool. But also, like, be careful. I'm not gonna be your alibi for when you've murdered your wife and you come to Boston and say, I was at PAX the whole time. I couldn't have murdered my wife. I was like, nope, that guy doesn't have a ticket. Look at it.
So I murdered my wife and then snuck into PAX as my alibi.
Yeah. And well, they were going to say that's their alibi. I was like, nope, you didn't buy a ticket. If you buy a ticket, I'll cover it for you. But not that I get anything from that. Anyway, go to PAX. If you're at PAX, say hi to us. We'll be there many, many days of PAX. And it'd be fun just to see people IRL in real life, Papa John's. And with that, we'll wrap up this episode. Alex, where can people find the remaining episodes of Cooking with Cozy? Nope, Cozy Bear's Kitchen.
Also,
what is
the
it called?
Cozy Bear's
Kitchen.
You can head on over to twitch.tv/CozyBearLive. The remaining 2 episodes of Cozy Bear's Cooking will be airing over the course of the next 2 Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Do you have something just like absolutely mind blowing for the final episode. Like, are you going to cook a rhino?
I
Put
have
some flour in a bowl and put it in the oven, and there's a rhino now.
one of the two dishes is intimately related to a lot of the kind of visual elements of the setup that I currently have going. I'll leave it at that. The other dish is a throwback to something that I have made in the past.
Oh.
And you'll have to tune in to find out what it is.
Well, as Nick Scarpino says, let's hope it's not make white. Because that is his euphemism for JoJo.
It's not that.
And with that,
making white.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to go over there and make some white? You want to go over there and make white? Anyway, with that, we'll sign off. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. Everyone go make white if you can. If you can't make white, find someone who can and buy it off of them.